Now, this car, guys, by the way, these things they were built on a C4 chassis, if I'm correct. The ones that you can buy. I don't know. And they were, when I started looking at buying one of these, which was probably 15 years ago, right before the movie came out, you had to donate a brand new C4.
What years were the C4s?
They ended up in 92, I think was the last one.
This is the C4, this is the 91 Corvette.
Yeah, and they were $50,000 plus a Corvette to have them made into this. So welcome to another episode of Junkyards and Barn Finds with Sean, and I'm Sean. And I'll have to overdub some because of background music, but I mean, you don't mind being in the video? Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
So this hover bike here is actually one of two, I believe they had. And these were designed as one-sided camera vehicles. So they're only dressed up on one side. Believe me, if it said place on the side I'm standing on, the bike would be facing the same direction as the before, not the Ford coach.
There you go. Very cool.
Speaking of the Ford coach, here's a better look of it. With its nightmare of an engine, a Ford Power V8 with 10 carburetors. Go ahead and do the tune job on that if you want. And this has been confirmed. It is actually from the original show, but not in the scenes you probably think. If you've seen the original Monsters, and you remember every time they did a beautiful long distance shot of the mansion, the car was parked out front, this car.
So this is the car. This was the set dressing car.
Yep, set dressing.
Very cool.
Which I'm still confused, because if you look at the chair, how was he able to fit inside the car?
Seriously, he's a big dude.
He really was. Then we have Herbie. Now this is actually one of 4 Herbies we have. We have 2 from the last film, Herbie Fully Loaded. This one in the Demolition Derby Herbie. And then we also have one from Herbie Rides Again and one from Herbie Goes Bananas. This one is actually a right-hand drive stunt car.
Okay.
Because if you look carefully inside, you'll notice there's a tiny wheel all the way at the end. And then this one does absolutely nothing. The idea was to make it look like Lindsay Lohan was doing the driving, even though she actually wasn't.
They would have somebody in a blue suit or a green chroma key.
Especially since this one's actually a race spec, so it was designed to go fast, like a NASCAR. I know the next poster is Shitty Shitty Bang Bang. However, this Hudson Super 6 is actually from a film called Evita, starring Madonna about Evita Peron.
Right.
The best information I can give you about Shitty Shitty Bang Bang is if you look carefully above the first Chitty, it reads Ian Fleming.
Right.
For anyone who's a fan of Ian Fleming and James Bond, they may know that throughout Ian Fleming's career of writing the Bond films, he wrote one children's book, and that was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Wow. Did not know that. One of my favorite cars ever.
The Gran Torino. This is a 1974 Gran Torino, probably the best year in my opinion. But it's a Starsky and Hutch car. And it's actually from the original TV show, not the movie. And I can prove that solely on the paint job.
Okay.
If you look at the firewall, which is the wall just behind the engine, that firewall is still red compared to the rest of the car. Which is proof that it's from the original show. Because the movie cars, that firewall would have been black, blue, or green, which were the 3 most common colors that the Gran Torino was sold in out of 6 options.
Right.
The other 3 were white, mustard yellow, and Roadrunner purple.
And there was a blue that would come with this stripe. And guys, if you remember when we were at Carlisle for Ford, it was the year that they had, it was 2015, and they had the Starsky and Hutch, and it was all Starsky and Hutch Torinos there. So I wonder if this car was one of the ones that was there back in 15. Because it was the Starsky and Hutch year, so they had all in there, and then they had some of the cast members as well.
Then we have RoboCop, the reboot, and an original. Now the original one just happens to be the third film of the trilogy, so RoboCop 3. And this is the beloved Ford Taurus Police Interceptor we all know and love. Although we still question why a Ford Taurus. And they could have used a Crown Vic.
Yeah.
But the reboot, they use a Tesla.
Oh.
I'm kidding, it's not a Tesla. It's actually a 2011 Kia Optima. But it kind of looks like a Tesla in a way.
Yeah, it does look like a Tesla.
Now the next vehicle is a very older vehicle. It's a 1949 Dodge Taxi used in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Now if you haven't seen this film, I highly recommend it. This is one of the vehicles in there. But Benjamin Button was more commonly for the film based on Benjamin Button's life himself, as he's the first one to go through the disease due to the fact it's named after him. But it does explain what happens during the disease as well. Now, before I get to the lovely rave party in the corner there, let me talk about this wall real quick.
All right.
In the corner by John Lane, the only celebrity that makes no sense being in here. We have the Sparrow from Austin Powers to Spy Who Shagged Me, along with Mini-Me doing the signature Pinky. Next to that is our James Dean tribute death car. This was actually used in the film about James Dean. Reason why I know it's not the one he died in is because, well, it's not flattened like a pancake.
Right.
Lewis, give her water. When you get a second. The original was a 1956 Porsche 550 Spider. I know this one says 1968
right.
Porsche Spider 550. Same thing, even though it's reversed. The car actually went through 3 names. It went through the manufacturer name of the Porsche 550 Spider, was then dubbed Little Bastard, which was the actual nickname given to James Dean, but then the last name it was given was known as the Cursed Car, because there is a curse story behind this vehicle.
Behind that specific one? Or the original, okay.
Next to that is a 1936 Auburn Speedtail. This is probably the prettiest car we have due to the fact of its vintage nature. Although, for the sake of the film, due to the fact that we need to go faster, it powered it with a Ford V8.
Oh, blasphemy.
You're telling me. But George Barris actually helped work on this car. Next to that is my favorite Ferrari that we have, a 308 GTS. Now, some original features about this, it is in fact one of the GTS's used in the film, but don't confuse it with the 308 GTBs, which they also used.
Right.
There was a difference between the two. Solely, this roof was the biggest difference. For the GTS, they all had this black panel roof, which this is removable, making these a roadsters.
Okay.
The GTBs, this roof was actually a solid red connected to the whole thing. And you could remove it if you cut it off, but you will insult a lot of Ferrari enthusiasts.
And never be able to buy a Ferrari again, because old man Ferrari won't let you do that.
Yes. Something I do like, it still has the original door handle attached to it.
Oh, wow.
Now these were kind of flimsy and were known to breaking up. The fact that this one still has it is pretty impressive as well.
And this was an on-camera car?
This was an on-camera car.
Nice.
Has the original gated transmission, the original Ferrari V8.
And no cup holders? Does it have a radio?
It has a radio.
Okay.
No cup holders, I think.
Now, this car, guys, by the way, these things could be, they were built on a C4 chassis, if I'm correct. The ones that you can buy. I don't know if, and they were, when I started looking at buying one of these, which was probably 15 years ago, right before the movie came out, you could get you had to donate a brand new C4.
What years were the C4s?
They ended up in 92, I think was the last one.
This is the C4, this is the 91 Corvette.
Yeah, and they were $50,000 plus a Corvette to have them made into this.
Now, depending on the age range for some of you, this car actually has quite a few names. Most people know it as a speed racer car. Some people know it by its true name, the Mach 5. But for those of you that have played a video game called Grand Theft Auto 5, this is known as the Scramjet. It is a tribute vehicle built off of a 1991 Chevy Corvette due to the LS engine in here. And this thing is a monster of an engine. It is the, for what I've done my research on, I believe it is the first ever tribute vehicle to the original Japanese anime car. Due to the fact that the original one is the only one autographed by the original voice actor, which this one is.
Okay.
And the last car is Miami Vice. It looks like a 73 Ferrari Daytona. However, it is not a 73 Ferrari Daytona. And here's how I know. Underneath the hood. Look familiar?
Nice Corvette engine.
It's a nice Corvette engine. So this is also built off of a Corvette.
Now I wonder if that's because of being a Ferrari, and old man Ferrari didn't like them playing around with stuff.
Well, it kind of was an issue with Ferrari. The thing was, they wanted a car for their pilot episode. They just didn't have time to play Ferrari's little game and wait for one.
Right.
So they took the 68 Corvette there, gave it a Ferrari body kit on top of it, and used that instead for the pilot episode. But then they got the green light to do season 1, and so they built the second one just in case. Around episode 8, episode 9, a glimpse of the car on screen caught the eyes of some Ferrari executives. And at first, they were just confused. They were like, how did they get one of our cars? So they went into their database and searched where all the Ferrari Daytonas were, and that's when they found out that because all the Ferraris were where they're supposed to be, Miami Vice was using a fake Ferrari Daytona, but emphasis on A. They thought, they then found out that they knew it was a fake. So they called them up and said, hey, time out. We can't have you using that car. We know it's a fake. It's against our policy. It's against our image. We'll make you a deal. If you agree to destroy it on screen, we'll bring you a Ferrari. So episode 1, season 2.
Should they subscribe to this channel even if they don't like cars today for this one?
Probably just for this one.
Where it says merchandise store right here, merchandise store link, you will see it says https:/junkyards-barn-finds, and you click on that and it's going to take you here.